This is John Zaninovich. Welcome to Move My Mass. You'll be hearing from great guests talk about balancing life and being fit. Tyson, welcome to Move My Mass. Been looking forward to having you on here. And first Zoom podcast for me with you. And that's because you're in Costa Rica. So this is pretty awesome to be talking to somebody down there. Love that country. Love what you're doing. So why don't we get started and, tell us about Fit for Life and what you're doing in the fitness industry and how you got there.
Yeah, man. Well, cool. First off, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know we've talked about this for a little while, and we actually knew each other in produce, right?
Right.
Which seems a while ago, but yeah, great. So anyways, right now I've come from Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, which has become a place that's pretty dear to my heart now, but it wasn't always this way. So, I'm originally from Reedley, California, and I spent 17 years in agriculture. And so, I started out with HMC and then moved on to a company named Sunfresh. And so, but I want to fast forward in the story to about 2014 because, this podcast is definitely centered around, getting motivated to do something and do something sustainable, right? Through healthy eating and fitness and finding your flow. And so, back in 2014, I had gotten obsessed with trying to get rid of my belly and my love handles. It was like, that was one thing that was really bugging me. And at the time, I was about 1 year into CrossFit and just kind of navigating and understanding. And so anyways, but in 2014, I had been in there a year and I go, okay, this is it, man. Like I've been busting my ass, now I'm going to work out 5 and 6 days a week because I need to look like a Greek god. Right. Yeah. I don't know what got into me, but anyways, I had this picture in my mind of me having abs. And so that just drove me. That's what really fucking lit my fire. And so I went on this journey and it was literally from the get-go in 2014. It was like, okay, so I did the only thing I knew how to do. And that was I started eating ground turkey, brown rice, and broccoli. And literally,
standard protocol, right?
Oh, yeah. It was like, hey, chicken and rice, that old bodybuilder diet.
Totally.
Oh, man. And so anyways, I started doing that multiple times a day, having this egg white mixture for breakfast, which sucked. And then, having some type of dinner. But anyways, I was doing that. I did that for a year, John, a freaking year. And you know what? Shit didn't change at all. In fact, I gained a little bit of weight. I gained some muscle mass, but dude, my belly, my love handles, they were as big as ever. And I have a picture, now it's 1 year in. I have a picture of me in 2015. And I mean, it's not like I was, obese or anything.
Right.
But it was just like, it was something that bothered me because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And that's something that's really important because no matter if somebody has, 5 pounds to go 10 or 100, whatever it is, we just want to be comfortable in our own skin, right? Want to be confident because it feels good. And so anyways, I have a picture of me back then versus when I finally figured it out. John, it would take me 4 years to figure it out. And we'll get into a little bit of that, but let's get,
so, stay with the journey, how you ended up to this point.
Cool. And so now we're in 2015 and something else starts to happen. And it's like, I'm at work, I'm a fruit buyer. I'm loving my fucking job, right? I mean, I'm buying peaches, plums, nectarines, oranges, and we're exporting them into Latin America. And I mean, it's been great. I've been a good 5-year run of that at this point. But then I started to get a little bored. And I'm like, well, okay, I don't know what this is. And, the company I was working for at the time, I still love them dearly. And I started asking them, hey, is there something I can do to switch up? Can I move offices? Can I move to your office in Spain? Can I, I want to change something up. So they opened up a door and opportunity for me because I just wasn't feeling right.
Yeah.
And so anyways, So then I went over to the sales side. And, in that, we were importing grapes from Chile, from Mexico, from Peru. So I was still able to travel and, do all those things and go see growers, which, when I would do that, the most, like, the thing I cherish the most is the connection, right? Is going down and seeing the growers, having them, talk to me about the harvest and what's going on. But then it was deeper. It was getting into, talking about life, talking about what they love, talking about what they wanted to do. Because, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's like, man, in produce, we were always, so buried in the season. We were always living for the moment when we didn't have to be in the grind, right? Like, oh, fuck, I can't wait until the season's over and we can go vacation and that grind.
Right.
And so, but there was just something inside of me that was like, man, this just doesn't align much anymore. But anyways, I would, 2016 had come, and then 2017, and still here I am. I'm on this journey of fitness, trying to figure out things. Low carb. I'm doing low carb. I'm doing, no sugar. I'm doing no alcohol. And at this point, what happens is when you get so strict on the weekdays, well, then you go crazy on the weekends because you don't have any balance.
Full crater. Just totally, cave in. I know that feeling sometimes.
Yeah. So, I'd blow it up because I didn't have balance. I didn't have balance in my eating because I was so restricted during the week. And so anyways, 2017, I still haven't really figured this out yet. I'm Googling, trying to figure out about my diet. I'm asking people, I'm trying whatever I can. Okay. And so 2018 was a very pivotal year for me. It was the year, although I didn't know it at the time. And so it was, I'd been with the company 8 years, and I was like, okay, I gotta move on. So I changed jobs and I changed cities. I was still in the same position as far as, sales, fruit sales, right? We're importing fruit from Peru, from Chile. And so I get this new job, John, about 3 or 4 months in, emptiness was still there. It was still there. It just, it wouldn't go away. And I go, okay, something's going on. And so right about that time, I just started this new job. I actually enroll myself as a student into this weight loss program. And, I don't even really know why, but I just got into it. Okay. So this program had like this influencer who was bringing us all in there, but yet it had sub coaches. So I made friends with the sub coach like right away. We just hit it off, right? We became buds.
So to back up just 1 second, was the emptiness both physical and professional? Like, okay, I want to do more in fitness and I also need something else professionally. Was it a combination of the two, or what was it mostly?
Yeah, good question. So it was both. But first and foremost, the one that was most apparent was that I was unfulfilled. I was completely unfulfilled in my job. Okay. At this point, I didn't love it anymore.
Right.
It was gone. And I was just forcing myself to get to work every day.
Gotcha.
And, I just get there. I got to put in my calls. You know how that goes.
Yeah, you go through the routine.
Go through the routine, drinking coffee. And by the way, it's like, I know a lot of your audience is going to resonate, but you know how it is in the morning when you're in the, I don't know, the pocket, for a couple of hours and you're just selling. It's just like, you get triggered as fuck sometimes, right? Oh my God. Oh, there's a rejection. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that.
Yes.
And that would happen to me. And I'd be cranked on caffeine, and you're reading, and here's another one. You're reading the news and it's fucked up. And, you're not feeling, I'm not feeling good about bombings and other things that I'm seeing. Plus I'm wired on caffeine. Plus there's rejection. Dude, at that point, it's like, I want to know, how does that influence the decisions you're making at that moment as a salesperson? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And you don't even have to be a salesperson, but at this point, that's what I was. That's who I was. Right. And I know you resonate.
Yeah.
But it's
sometimes it'll cause you to snap when you wouldn't have snapped if everything else was going okay.
Right there.
And then usually at that moment, whoops, that was the wrong time to do that. But that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Should I have blown out those pallets? Should I have taken them at $5 less?
Right.
Yes.
Whatever
that is. So I wouldn't know it till years later, but it was those moments, the anxiety that gets everybody worked up. What kind of decisions, is it forcing us to make, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then you get to the point, I interrupted you, but you get to the point where you hired a mentor to help you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, 2018, here I am. I hire someone to figure it out because I couldn't myself.
Yeah.
And so it was about 1 month. Okay. And this guy, he was an assistant coach. He goes, look, you do a lot of things right. You know a lot about food and whatnot, but you're making this one mistake. I'm like, really? Well, what the hell is
right? Enlighten me.
Yeah. And he told me, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let me fix it. So I fixed it. In 1 month, man, my body changed so much. And, I still have those before and after pictures, right?
Right. Yeah.
From 3 years prior, 2015 is when I really had a picture of how I was versus 2018 when I was a month into this program.
Yeah, I think, if I'm mistaken, I think it's a picture of you at a baseball game or something like that in the stands. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, there is. You're not out of shape there at all, but there is a drastic difference between that and your current pictures.
Exactly. So then it got real interesting because this is where at about 30 days of working with this guy, I go, okay, I've got a lot of experience in being disciplined, working with food. I had already become, a trainer in CrossFit, and that was just on the side, right? So
yeah.
I understand movement and, and safe movement for people, exercise. And I go, I can do this. Like, I can do this. So I got 4 friends together. They're all from CrossFit. I says, hey guys, like, I want to do this. Will you guys go on a 60-day, weight loss journey with me? I'll do it for free. They're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So I'm still in this program as a student, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm using the knowledge that I had. And John, I went through the 60 days and I loved it. I loved coaching them. At about that time, close to the 60-day mark of coaching these people, I had gotten into another group that would teach you how to build a fitness business online.
Yeah.
So it was like this perfect divine timing. And my 60-day group ended. And not long after that, not even like a week or two, I had my first paying client.
Wow.
And it was off to the races, man. Like, I stepped on the gas really hard and I just started building it and building this company. And I had no idea where it was going to go. I had no insight on that. I was still, in agriculture.
Right. Well, it looks like it's doing great.
It is. And so, the next couple steps that happened were really important. And about 5-6 months into running it, it was like, it became very apparent, very real. This could be a good avenue for me. Mm-hmm. I was enjoying it. It was kind of coming into my own. People were starting to come to me. And in June of 2019, I was called in for my 1-year review. Okay. And, up until this point, like, I've always had good reviews, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time is, hey, this is what you're doing good, you could improve here. And usually it's a nice bump. But I got in this review and it was just all negative. I was floored, man.
Yeah.
Floored. And at the very end, I asked them, do you guys have anything nice to say? And they're like, oh, yeah, you're doing good at making the calls and da-da-da. Okay. So I went home that night. Mm-hmm. I was crushed, man. How could I not be?
Right. That's a hard thing to go through.
And I said, fuck this. That was it. So I said, dude, I have got to get out. Right? I got to get out of the process because I know it's sucking my soul.
Right. Okay?
And so I stepped on the gas harder. I started waking up 4:30 in the morning so that, I could get my day going and then go to work, right? And work all day and not touch my business and then come home at night and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I stepped on the gas really hard. And you know what? I'm thankful for that review that I had, because that was the exact redirection that I needed.
It was the trigger.
And I didn't even know it. I didn't know it at the time. And so I go, I am going to resign and I can't wait. And I would envision that moment in my mind over and over again of handing in my resignation letter. And about 9 months later, so I was originally going to resign on March 20, 2020. But something on March 3rd told me, go now, bro. Just go.
Mm-hmm.
I cleaned out my computer. And on March 6th, with my heart beating out of my chest,
I can only imagine.
There was, it was interesting because I was standing there with my letter and my heart just beating so hard, man. And at that moment, like I was paralyzed with fear. And the only thing that was like pushed me over the edge was, you owe this to yourself. And this is your 40th birthday present. Okay. And I walked in there and I did it. And
it has to be really scary. Those produce sales jobs, those are good paying jobs. It's not like you're walking away from something menial. That's a big step.
It was, man. It wasn't small by any means. I was well taken care of, man. I had comfort. I did. And, one thing that's like important, if you guys remember the pandemic, is that, things really got off to a start with quarantine and whatnot around like the 16th, 18th or 20th of March, right? Had I have waited to do my original plan, I don't know what would have happened. But again, it's like divine timing, right?
Yeah.
Go early, I went. Even on my last day at the office, which was somewhere around March 16th, as I walked out the door for the last time, I needed to puke.
I can't imagine.
Because I go, what did I just do, man? And there was some fear, but there was underlying peace. Like in the months to come, there was still some underlying peace. But anyways, so now we're 15 months post, right? And it was the absolute right decision, because there is something so special when you burn the boats and when you go all in on something that is your passion, your dream. Dude, it's so special.
And you were definitely hitting this at a good time, because I've been reading about how many people are leaving their jobs since COVID. Like I don't know if it's woken them up to, man, this is not what I want to be doing. Whatever it is, not just about produce, but it can be anything, and they're transitioning into something that makes them happier. And I think it's for a lot of reasons. One, a lot of people were forced to stop working, work from home. And now they're like, you know what, maybe the money's, and it doesn't even have to be a lot of money, but people are definitely looking for that thing to fulfill them. Doesn't have to be fitness. It can be anything. But yeah, you're hitting this at the perfect time, and so many people are going to relate to you on what you're going through, and you pulled it off and you did it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So yeah, let's get into the details of what you are doing now.
Okay.
Cool. Fit for life, right? That's the big thing. And tell me about that.
Yeah, man. So, now I am a women's fat loss coach. Okay. But it's so much deeper than that, because, as I went through my journey of, remember, being strict during the week and then only to, just need cheat days and breaks on the weekends. I never knew how much that would actually serve me to go through that. And so this program is just built on sustainability and doing sustainable weight loss, not magic pills, because we all know that, that the magic pill, it doesn't work.
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. It can, it can work for 30 days, but I hear this over and over again. People go right back. They gain the weight right back.
Mm-hmm.
because, they didn't address what needed to be addressed was, well, the first thing we do in my program is we start in the grocery store, right? And I take people through that journey of the nutrition because you can't outwork that diet.
Cannot.
Right? You cannot.
Especially at 50.
Gets
harder. Gets harder and harder.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I take pictures and brands and go through nutrition facts and ingredients with people so that they understand how to choose healthy foods. But there's something really important, man. And it's that, there's foods for fat loss that, low fat, low sugar, all that shit.
All the trigger words, all the, clickbait,
exactly.
If you want to say in the store.
Yeah. And, they get sugar alcohols and lots of chemicals in them. Mm-hmm. There's foods for fat loss. And then there's healthy foods for fat loss. I blend those worlds together for people because one thing that's still important for people is that they want to be healthy long-term. So we start with those healthy foods, right? The healthy foods that are going to make you feel better, right? And when people start feeling better and they're making healthier decisions, well then, okay, at some point the weight starts to go. When that happens, you have momentum. When you have momentum, that brings confidence. When you have confidence, that means everything.
Yeah, for me, like whenever I take breaks from being really strict or whatever, and I get back to it, for me, it's about the 6-week mark. When I'm paying attention to what I'm eating, I'm not talking about being strict, but when I'm starting to pay attention again, really rein it in, get my workout program going again, it's around the 6-week mark. And it's different for different people. But like you said, once you start to feel it, once you start to see it, oh man, then it makes going to the gym the next day that much easier. It makes cooking that healthy meal that much easier. It makes turning down that pizza a lot easier. It just, like you said, that momentum builds and that motivation just kicks up on a whole new level.
Dude, it's addicting.
It is.
It is. And another piece when we're talking about, pizza, alcohol, and, what about the treats in the break room? Because, as people go back to offices, and even if they don't, but, especially in offices, being in produce, I mean, how many times would the box guy show up with donuts? And no judgment to the box guy showing up with donuts, but you know how it goes. Someone brings cookies, they bring cupcakes, and it's so easy to walk by and take a half.
Yes.
It's so easy to walk back by and say, I'm going to have the other half, right? And bring it to the desk.
Yep.
And here's the thing. You don't have to avoid all these foods. You can have balance and live with them so that every day doesn't feel so damn restricted so that when you get to the weekends, you need a break.
Right.
So that's what I teach people is teach them balance. But
that's what this is all about right here. Move my mess. The balance, finding that balance.
Yeah. And then you don't feel like you need the break. And it's not about chicken and rice. Nobody eats just chicken and rice in my programs. In fact, it's rare that they eat it. And there's another thing. It's like, most diets, most modern diets that we see, and I'm not talking keto, I'm not talking intermittent fasting, but most like traditional diets are based off a very old model. Yeah. An old model that you can Google yourself, you can get it out, you can download it, you can find it. And it's this high protein, low fat diet. Guys, nobody follows that for more than, 30 days. And if you do, what happens when you're done? Well, you go right back. And so honestly, my message is those diets are dead because I don't know about you, but the people I work with and even myself, we're not looking to compete, right?
Right.
We still want to look good, right? We want to lose some fat, want to feel comfortable in our own bodies and confident. Guess what? We can still do that without these old bodybuilder diets.
Now, are you finding success with balance right from the beginning? So somebody comes to you fresh, standard goal of losing a few pounds, getting toned. Are you finding success of starting with balance right off the bat? Do you work them in slow, or do you start off more strict in the beginning and then work in balance? What's your approach from the beginning with somebody?
Yeah, good question, man. It's balanced from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would be a complete disservice to me and to them if we just did some, strict protocol right in the beginning. Yeah, that doesn't work. And plus it could be discouraging. People do a juice cleanse and then they gain a bunch of weight back, right?
Right.
How discouraging would that be? Right.
Right.
It's balanced from the get-go, and then they learn it, right? And guess what? You can still have results. People are still dropping water weight right away because that's the first thing to go. It's not like fat loss on day 1 or day 2. No, the first things to go are going to be the water weight, but that's important. You know what that means? When you start losing water weight, that means your clothes fit a little bit better. That means you don't have to, loosen up your belt after lunch type thing,
Right.
And it's just so important. And that's what makes it sustainable long term.
Yeah. And then you working into the workout program immediately with it? Or is it nutrition first and then we work the workout program into it later? Or is it simultaneous?
Yeah, good question,
How do you
man.
work into that?
Yeah. So it is right away, but I take a little bit different pace. Yeah. I do something that's doable for people so that they can, getting on track, especially with nutrition, is very important from the get-go. People also come to me at all different levels. Maybe they're coming off the couch, or I have people who are killing it on the Peloton, and more power to them. That's fine. I have clients with Pelotons. I have some clients that go, to hit classes in the gym or wherever they go, and that's fine. It depends on where they're coming from and starting. But again, it's, somebody who's coming off the couch and, hasn't done anything, how well would it serve them to work out 5 days a week and make, a lot of changes all at once? In my experience, it won't, because we want to do something long-term. I want them to still be doing this year round. Okay.
Right.
And that's how I see sustainability. That's how I've lived my life. So, post 2018, when I really figured it out, and here we are, just about 3 years later, my body stays so much the same. I just have balance and I do things consistently, right? I don't seek perfection. It's a big thing in my program. Consistency over perfection. And so that's how I live my life. And
so
just
true.
The last thing is like, I embody how I live and I show that. So anybody who follows me, like on my stories on Instagram, they're going to see that I'm living it right with them, right? You can see my foods, my healthy foods. You can see the brands that I buy. I go over all that stuff on my stories. And because it's important that the coach lives it right along with everybody else. And every once in a while, I show my body, but it's not from a place of a selfie, look at me.
Right.
It's to show you guys, look, hey, I'm living this along with you.
Yeah, because you nailed it. And I talk about it all the time in different podcasts and on my post. Consistency is key. That's going to be what helps you in the long run. Because anything that I even do, and I love to work out, anything that I do that's super intense, I'm only going to do it for so long. And then I'm going to go back to a more mellow is not the right word, more sustainable type workout. But staying consistent is what works, no matter the program.
100%, man.
So how did you mentioned that, you specialize in women's weight loss. How did you get to that point where, most of your clientele are women? What was...
Yeah, good question, man. So in the very beginning, it was come one, come all, right? And I had both men and women. But about that 5 or 6 month mark, I noticed that I was coaching 90% women. Those were the people who were coming to me. The ladies were working hard. They were receptive. They were open. They were having results. And I just communicated well with them. I mean, if I go back to high school, some of my best friends were women. It's just the way it's been. And so it just was like, okay, you know what? Like, I know I can help these ladies. They can struggle with snacking at certain times. They're busy. They're doing so many things, right? They wear so many hats. And there's a lot of times that, they don't take time for themselves to, eat the healthy meal because they need something that's quick and fast, which I get, right? Or, they may skip the workout because, in the end, they're busy and I get it. And I just thought, okay, you know what? Like, I can really help them. And it is just, and that's how it's been ever since.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of cool because you didn't know where you're going to head with it. You knew what you wanted to do, but to end up at that point and just embrace it, and it's got to be pretty thrilling and motivating. How many clients are you up to now? More or less.
Yeah, right now I'm at 12, I believe. Right now,
in your current program,
as it stands right now, yeah.
Love that.
Thanks, man. But I always have. It's interesting. I always have like one guy, in the stable, like or however you call it, right?
right.
Within the clients, like there's always one guy that I'll have, right? And my programs are 3 months, so it'll cycle and change, but I always have, there will be a guy, and it's because he resonates, right? He resonates with what I'm saying, and they end up reaching out, and it's great. Because the principles for fat loss are the same, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's man or woman, totally. There are different struggles, and there are, some differences, but in the end, all the principles are the same.
So personally for you, what's a day like for you nowadays? Not in Costa Rica. Well, maybe you could, to remind people that you are in Costa Rica right now. But before you left, what's it? Now you're out of produce. You're focusing on your fitness business. What's a day like?
Okay. Yeah. Good question. So,
and then I do want to hear what a day like is in Costa Rica after that.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Or maybe I'll weave it all in.
There you go.
But so the thing is this, that one thing is important for everybody to know is that, around 2017, I saw people working online while traveling and still able to produce an income. And I read a book called The 4-Hour Work Week in 2017. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And that's by Tim Ferriss, very famous book. And so, it's not truly about working 4 hours, but it was the premise, the principle of it. So anyways, right now, so my dream was to work online while serving my clients and traveling the world. Like those were the 3 things that I really wanted to do. I knew that in 2018, okay, as soon as I really started this 60-day test group. And so, and finally, like I gave myself permission, about maybe a little over a month ago to come to Costa Rica and to travel a little bit. It was originally for vacation. Uh-huh. And I loved it so much after the first 10 days, I said, I'm staying 5 weeks longer. So all I need is my laptop, right? Yeah. And so I found this, I'm staying in a bungalow right now with just a gorgeous view of the jungle, and I can see the ocean out there. And man, my days, they have a lot of flow. This is going to sound funny and interesting maybe for your listeners, because coming from a guy who, it's get up super early, go to the office, have my coffee, make the calls, like all the things. It was like busy, right? Mm-hmm. And all damn day. Well, when we're busy all damn day, then we just run our batteries and run ourselves into the ground. So this has taken some time to get used to, but here's how my day goes. So when I get up in the morning, I do a very specific morning routine. Okay. And for all those salespeople out there, or even non-salespeople, man, if you're just like in the mornings, you got a lot of stress. And, we talked about, oh man, I'm just going to blow these pallets out or whatever. While I was still in produce, I started doing a morning routine that gave me so much more calm and just had me so much more centered. Yeah. And that was dear to me because it made me look back and say, holy shit, I'm drinking all this coffee, I'm reading the news, and then I'm trying to sell this fruit, which is perishable, right? I always tell people who are non-fruit people, it's like trying to sell fruit that's perishable, right?
Right.
So we got to move. We got to go. It's got to go. And so I would do a morning routine that would just center me more, so that when I got in the pocket and I sat there and some guy, we just rejected this shit. Oh, or this is having problems, it's bruised, it's whatever, or we got to move this load. It's like, okay, I could take my breath and still move from a place of like still some calmness, but yet I had the urgency, right? I never lost the urgency, right? Okay, I still got to, but you can choose how you react. Yes, but when you're loaded on caffeine and you start your day looking at all the emails or the rejections and all the things, guess what? You get triggered. Your nervous system never gets a break. Truly what this comes down to is calming and controlling the nervous system and teaching it how to be calm. I didn't know that I was doing that, but I was. Okay. And so that's still even a key part of my program, especially with my private clients, because that's important, man or woman. We all deal with anxiety, stress, worry. And so getting back to my day, I started with a morning routine that's really powerful for me that gets me centered and starts like with calm and peace. But then I can move into things like, okay, I market myself online. So creating, posts, creating content for people is a big part of what I do. It's a part of what I love, because within it, I share the story, right? And lead and guide people. And there's content about, whether it's better foods, whether it's your mindset around how to do this whole diet thing, it's from one end of the spectrum, but it's all things encompassing health, right?
Yeah.
So I spend a couple hours in the morning doing that. Also, I make good, healthy food for myself. So I have a breakfast, and guess what? I'll enjoy it, right? That means I'm actually chewing my food while I'm, even if I look at my phone as I'm looking at my phone and I'm not inhaling my breakfast, because digestion starts in the mouth, right? And so that's so important. And then I would say, a few hours passes, and then it's, accountability and checking in with clients. I also have client calls with, whether it's my privates or my group, and a majority of all my clients are private clients. And so I have calls with them. And then, in the afternoon, there is time to just like do a little bit of relaxing, right? And have some flow in my day where I feel freedom, because I was never able to feel a lot of freedom. And I'm not talking about just, it's weird, right? Because, in the office, you're always like, go, 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 go. And it was hard for me to get out of that mindset. But, now it allows me flow in my day, if that makes sense. And I feel like
and flow in your mind also. Keep it free, keep it fluid.
Dude,
Big
and that's
difference.
That's where the ideas come from, right? And
Yes.
so if if you listen to guys like Tony Robbins, right? I think most people on this podcast will know who he is. Probably, the number one motivational speaker of our time, right?
Huge.
Huge, man. When you're able to get quiet and allow yourself space, guess what? You ask better questions. When you ask better questions, you get better answers. So, it's like, okay, you're stressing about, what should we do in the business? How should we do this? And if you're going all day, how are you going to let those answers come? They may eventually come.
And for me, it comes from me in my endurance training, cycling, running, swimming. It's amazing. And I do that without listening to anything on purpose.
There you go.
And talk about, it just starts flowing, just starts coming fast. Love that feeling.
So that's the beauty of it. Guess what? Other people get ideas in the shower. You've heard of that before, right? It's like, oh, right. Shit. I thought of that in the shower. You know why? You actually allowed yourself to get quiet. You didn't know it, but you can't take your phone in there. And right. So it's like, you get ideas in the shower. And literally, like my ideas have come from this quiet time, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like listening to what I really want to do and what I really want to build and the experience I want to build for my clients, right? Like it's those things. It's such a different way than what I'm used to. But oh my gosh, it feels so much better. And it's not like this roaring stress all day long. Do I still have stress? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Right.
Right.
I walked away from a job and all the, you know what that implies.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it's just this, man, answers come and it all works out.
Now, for you personally, what kind of workout program works the best for you? What do you like? What makes you jive physically?
Yeah. So for me, it's about 3, maybe 4 days a week of like HIIT training, right? I love circuit training. I always will. I do that. And my workouts they're not long, John. They're less than 20 minutes. And, maybe I do a little accessory work, but even with the clients, they're in 40 minutes, you're done. 40 minutes or less, you're done. I also incorporate a lot of walking. So, I know right now in the Valley, Central Valley in California, there's, it's hot. Mm-hmm. I get that. If someone, if it's too unbearable in the early mornings or it's not possible, whatever it is, there's other ways, right? Gyms, I'm sure many gyms are opening up. There's ways to get in cardio, but if I can, I go outside, I get a walk in, and it's a short walk. Could be, 20 minutes, could be up to 40 minutes if I have the time. But I'm also mixing in walking throughout my day. Get some sunshine, right? Like it's important.
What do they call that? NEAT, non-exercise activity?
Well,
that's pretty key to keep the movement going beside your workout.
Yeah, it is.
Move around the office, whatever.
Yeah, that's important. And more so too, it's like, when someone uses weights in their program, it's really important because that you're even burning some calories at rest, right?
Right.
And that's important. But yeah, the NEAT, even like moving around the office, just getting some movement in and not staying so stationary and just sitting down all day is important.
How long ago did you stop counting calories? Because I have a feeling you don't count them.
No, I don't now.
And I bet you there was a day you did.
Oh, hell yeah. I had to learn.
Right.
I had to learn it all. So the last time that I truly counted calories to I say manipulate my body, but like produce a result in my body was at the very end of that program that I originally did, which it finished in around November of 2018. That was the last time I seriously tracked calories for good.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what comes with consistency. That's what comes with doing it for a long time. You learn your body, you learn you just know what you're eating after a while. And that's such a huge benefit of sticking with your personal growth program for a long time. Because I don't count. I do every once in a while just to keep all right, let me see what I'm doing here. I don't do it to try to lose weight, but I just want to see if I'm still calculating in my head more or less. If I'm, because I don't count calories. I don't get on the scale that often either. But that comes with doing it for so long. I could put on my pants and I can tell you where I'm at.
You would, Yeah, 100%, man.
And I'm assuming this is a huge part of your program to get people to that point where, man, just flow. Just let me teach you some balance. Something that's sustainable and not, if you're counting calories every day, that's not sustainable. For some people it is. There are some hardcore people that can do that and stay with it. But at some point, if you want to make it a lifestyle, which is your program, you have to do it naturally. You just have to let everything be flowing from the head to the body to the stomach. And once you achieve that, then it's the possibilities are endless, right?
100%, man. Calories were not meant to be tracked forever, and nor would I recommend it. And because at some point you want to have that flow to where you've learned the healthy foods, how much food you need to because you will have gotten to the point where you can just maintain the body that you enjoy, a body you're comfortable in, a body you're confident in. And once you get to that point, it's like you have that freedom and flow. But to get there, yeah, you're going to have to learn food. You're going to have to learn it. And it sounds kind of silly, but it's not silly because it really isn't. This isn't the food pyramid. I'm serious. This isn't the food pyramid. It's truly learning food. It's learning about ingredients. You don't need to know them all. You need to understand, or I really believe people need to understand what oils to avoid, what preservatives to avoid. Like, be very aware of how much sodium they're taking in, because all these things are going to affect how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. And guess what? If we don't feel good, then who's going to really want to continue to make the change? If you continually feel bad, right?
Right.
And those aren't the only things, but they're very important. They're important for longevity, right? And so my thing is, when people can truly learn food, and it's not super time consuming. I get it. People have a lot on their plate. That's fine. Guess what? I work with people who are very busy. Mm-hmm. And they also tell themselves before we start, like, oh, I may be too busy to do this. Oh my gosh, I've got to cook all the time. I've got to meal prep. No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't expect people to spend hours in the kitchen meal prepping because it doesn't require that.
And I've tried that. I'm not the type of person that can do it. Do it 1 or 2 weeks and then, all right, done with that. It's like asking somebody to go work out for 2 hours. All right.
Yeah.
You can do it for a little while. And guess what? It's not going to work long term.
Not going to work long term. Exactly. And so it's things that you can do long term. I have quick and easy recipes and even like snack items that are easy for people. Mm-hmm. So they can grab them on the run instead of pulling through the drive-through every time. Right. And it's, also it's like, it's not about avoiding fast food. It's not about avoiding sugar. It's not about avoiding carbs or alcohol. No, it's about learning balance. Mm-hmm. And, I have simple rules in the program that are about, okay, this is how you order out. Like, here's just literally 2 rules. Use these rules and order what you like, right? Whether that's at a restaurant, because we know about the dinners, right? Customer dinners or whatever.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. And then also it's like, now 4th of July is coming up. Before we know it, Labor Day will be here. And then it's going to be the cycle of holidays and parties. And it's like, I don't expect people to stand over the veggie plate because I wasn't that kind of guy. And so when that's what I teach in the program, so that it just gives you freedom. You're like, oh shit, I don't have to just eat before and just stand there. And, someone's going to ask me, well, why aren't you eating? Are you on a diet? Like, that's the worst thing. So
yeah,
it's about having freedom.
Yeah, so much. So how do people get a hold of you? How do they find you? Tyson Derksen on Instagram, right?
Exactly, man. The best place is on Instagram. That is where I am most active. So it's at Tyson Derksen. And I'm sure you'll probably add that in the show notes.
Right.
How the name is spelled. And then also, I am on Facebook. I have a business page on Facebook, but I am the most active on Instagram.
Right. Yeah. I will put all that on the notes. It's been great talking to you. But before we go, what's your workout going to be tomorrow?
Yeah. So how about tonight? Because I'm still going to work out tonight.
All right. Well, yeah. What's your next workout?
Okay.
What's it going to be?
So tonight, I always try to squat once a week. And so I'm going to squat tonight. Okay. And I'll do some squats. And then I'm going to do about a 12 to 15 minute circuit train that I make it up on the fly. From the years of CrossFit training and whatnot, I make something up that I know that'll be, get my heart rate up, be good for my health, and get my workout in.
You can't squat today. It's Monday. It's International Chest Day. You know that?
Is it really? Oh my God, I forgot about those rules. Oh my gosh.
And that was my workout today, just by chance. It just happened to be, I did a pull day the other day, and today was push day. And I did laugh at myself as I got on the bench press. I'm like, oh, here I am. But Tyson, super great talking to you. Wish you the best success. So jealous of where you're sitting right now. I know that view you got. And look forward to talking again. Thank you, man. Appreciate this, John. Love talking about these things, and hoping that it inspires others. So thank you. You have a good one. You too.